And welcome back to the World by Design podcast. And if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. Today we're going to be doing a little world building and working with the World Amble's Summer Writing Challenge prompts.
We're professionals, I swear.
I make no claims about being a professional streamer at all. I just wanted to get on here and have conversations with friends about world building. So when we hit the point of being professional, it'll be because we have money to pay people to set up all the nice things, but we're just not there yet. Anyway, we're going to be doing more of our world building on stream. And in particular, we're going to be talking about constraints today as we do this development. And partly as a way to illustrate that, we're going to be looking at the world building summer camp from World Amble. And the useful thing that they do here is that they give prompts, and in a very unique way, prompts are constraints. They set either a limitation or a possibility space for our writing whenever we get ready to go. And sometimes you really need that because it's really, really difficult to be creative when you have no limitations. You know, and I guess the best illustration of this is when someone asks you what you want to eat. If you don't already have the idea, just the very question of, well, what do you want to eat is almost a paralyzing choice because there's too many options. In the same way, whenever it comes to writing a world, it's, hey, what do you want to write? Well, who knows? So, we're going to do some writing today. Elizabeth, do you have a particular preference on which prompt we're going to take? In one moment, because I'm not hearing Elizabeth. Let me make sure she's coming to the website on live stream. Elizabeth, could you say something? Do you mic check? Yeah. So our goose is silent. Let's see what's going on with her microphone. Kemi, can you check something? Can you say something? This is what happens when we forget to do sound checks before we start. Now the weird thing is, I'm seeing who's on collab 2. Elizabeth, I'm not getting your mic. Give us 1 second while we troubleshoot audio here. Apologize for the wait. Yeah, I know, it's annoying.
The technology, a blessing and a bane.
Sorry. Oh, there's Elizabeth.
Oh, you can hear me?
Cammy, can we hear you?
Hello.
I hear Cammy. Can you guys hear her on the stream? Excellent. Thank you, Ina. Okay, so as we were saying,
Prompts.
Elizabeth, do you have a prompt that you'd like to write?
As much as it's tempting to say to start with the first one, with 30 prompts, it is also tempting to pick one in the middle. So
Can I give a recommendation for one that might be fun to do? Because I've never done this before, and I don't know if you guys have done this before.
Which one?
They're a cuisine from a sparse, barren, or remote region of the world. Want to do food?
Sure. Make us all hungry.
Look,
and I actually think we might even have an idea for that one.
Yeah, didn't we already kind of start?
Yes, we have at some
with
point
the
referenced
with like the ice wine.
We had the ice wine.
Can we modify that and make a mixologist's table for our world? I'm sorry. No, we should make a cuisine.
A mixologist. You know, I mean, I would totally be down. I would totally be down with making a drink menu.
No, I just, like, in theory, like, what would be, like, the cool drink? Like, what would be the signature drink of, like, the region in Afghanistan? What is the regional drink? That's the question here.
I think the regional drink there is probably going to be like an ale or wine, just by looking at the map.
I think maybe because there's a lot of cool stuff you can do, like with mead is another thing.
Yeah, I was about to say it could be mead.
Because I've certainly had various like fruit meads, and I know that let's see. I don't know. There's like certainly additives you can put in with ale as well to just make it distinct and different. Another possibility would to go for something more distilled, like kind of more closer to a brandy, like because fruit brandies are a thing.
True.
Okay, well, I'm going to lay dibs on the ice wine.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
If we're writing these.
I mean, do we all want to try to write something different and then reconvene, or work on the same
Wait,
one?
yeah, what are we doing?
Well, we can do 3 of them. I mean, just for giggles.
But it's probably easier, like, if we're going to do 3, then maybe just do it one at a time to start out with.
We were wanting this to be kind of a chill day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like having it do separately kind of feels like a competition.
Yeah.
It does.
Which would be perfect if we weren't exhausted.
Ooh,
Can we just look up a list of common alcoholic beverages?
so we got some use the wine.
Wikipedia.
Yeah, Wikipedia.
Exhaustion is the theme of the day. Yeah, I think everybody here is feeling that today, Bama.
Yeah. Beer sauce is also very fun to cook with.
Yeah.
I do enjoy myself, a nice coq au vin which has wine for the sauce, but I've also had what was it? It was a.
Have you had vodka pasta?
Yes, I have had vodka sauce pasta. I have had steak with beer sauce, which is very good.
I've seen steak with beer and Coca-Cola as the base.
As somebody who doesn't drink Coke, I've not had that.
Aware. I don't either, because I didn't know it until they fed it to me, and I was like, "That's why this tastes like sugar."
Oh, I just found out very quickly that my stomach does not like carbonation.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I don't drink any soda, which is always a surprising thing for people.
I don't drink any caffeinated sodas. Like, I don't drink any like Coca-Cola or Pepsi or Mountain Dew, or I drink like Sprite and then seltzer water. And
is Fanta
no, it's not.
Okay,
I like Fanta. I like High C more though.
fair.
Just mix High C and Sprite together, the High C fruit punch and Sprite. That's what I always got at like fancy restaurants as a kid when they didn't give me a Shirley Temple. Tea is good. Ooh.
We also have to come up with the grapes.
The grapes.
So something I was thinking about for the grapes, because I do have.
I was thinking we could do it a berry. We could do it a berry wine.
Okay, that also works.
Yeah, like,
I mean, we don't have to do grapes. I know that's normal, but most of the world, they were making wine out of virtually anything.
True.
So let's think about it. This area where this wine is coming from, it's cold, right? Like, that's the whole point of this.
Yep.
So
it's cold and it has access to like glaciers and ice, so ice water.
Raspberries.
Also, maybe something, or like cloudberries.
True, that works too.
Or what is the other one that comes from Sweden?
Yeah. No, I immediately say that because I literally live in Alaska and we have multiple raspberry bushes in our backyard that just grow wild.
I love that ice wine is actually a thing, though.
Well,
it is like a legitimate
and don't
thing.
forget, this is also a fantasy world.
Yeah, so can we just create a berry? Like,
yeah, okay. We can base it off the. Let's base it off the.
So we have options.
What are we doing?
What if we had
so we're gonna base it off a raspberry?
It's based on. It's like it kind of looks like maybe it looks like a
white, like a
white or like glassy raspberry.
Yeah,
and it grows up in the glaciers. Like, for some reason, this berry really, really loves just
Right.
growing, like, in straight-up glaciers. And it thrives there. Which is why nobody else can produce it, because nobody else has glaciers.
Okay, so
But what do we call the berry?
I think we can call it a snowberry. I kind of like that name.
Yeah,
It
I
works.
like it.
The snowberry.
When you eat it when it's not ripe, I love that idea. Frostberry, if you eat it when it's not ripe, you get frostbite in your tongue. I
Okay, so it's going to be made from the rare snowberry.
and I feel like
I'm trying so hard not to say
Not
that you
gold.
should be using the O with a slash through it, so it's snowberry.
really.
And then nobody can
I do
pronounce
not
it.
have all those keys memorized, so you can
I was
come
gonna
back
say,
and
I
edit
don't
that.
have those.
I can edit it because I can do it natively on my keyboard.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Why? Actually, no, that's a non-question. Never mind.
No, I mean it's a very no. Okay, it is a very reasonable question because I don't have a normal keyboard, at least not
Why-
for where I live.
Why don't you
Um,
have a normal keyboard? That's a really good question. Hold up.
Because I'm a very strange person, and I convinced my ex-boyfriend to go bring me a keyboard from Denmark. Because I could, so when I ordered the keyboard, the only way to get a Scandinavian keyboard layout was to have it delivered to someplace in Scandinavia. They don't ship those internationally, apparently. So I sent it to my ex-boyfriend, and he brought it to me when he came to visit. So now my primary keyboard is a Scandinavian keyboard, and the best thing about having people visit me is that they lose their minds anytime they have to use my computer. It is a great deterrent to
You know
keep people
what?
off my shit.
That is smart. Well, but here's the thing. So do you type? So you don't use a US QWERTY keyboard, or is it similar? Just
It's still a QWERTY keyboard, except there's a few extra keys to it.
okay.
So this is with a single key press, I can simply type in the O with a slash.
Mm.
And that's just a normal key press for me. I can do accents a little bit easier. That also works.
Yeah, I'm trying
I
to
think
think
they
of like
caught all
what
the ideas
other-
there.
I'm trying to think of other like dishes.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
berry
you-
would be used in.
Snowberry jam.
Yeah, there you go. Berry jam. I feel
So
like
then-
I feel like just like have a medicinal use.
Then why don't we make this? I was going to say, should we make this article for about the snowberries or about the ice wine?
About the ice wine.
Yeah.
Because there is another prompt where we can write about snowberries.
What's the snowberry?
Okay.
That one is a useful
Fair.
plant found in a wild area of your world.
Okay, fair, fair.
Oh, that works. Let's do the ice one.
Okay, so is there anything special about the way that they have to process it? Because since we're making wine, right, it has to sit up, it has to age for.
Yeah, not just even the aging, but also like just how, like, for instance, skin on or skin off kind of things.
Yeah, I was about to say, are we making this like plant?
Mm.
You have to process it.
Yeah, like how much do you have to
Process it?
process it? And then adding things like, you know, can you like would you add like
Yeah, so-
yeast or something to it?
Right. Well, I would think back then they tended to use wild yeast, but I was also thinking about, if you go to Iceland, right, you have the volcanoes, so you have these geothermal springs and stuff. Maybe it's a combination of the geothermal water with the glacial water.
So, like, when they mix it in, because I guess that, they'd have to mix with water. Like, you have to use a specific kind of water as well, and that would be the geothermal water.
Yeah.
That could be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes it so it doesn't give you frostbite.
Yeah. Well, you think hot springs, right?
Yeah.
Because they would have higher mineral content.
Yeah, because I was about to say, like, if this is being grown, like, you have to do something to it for it to not hurt you.
Okay. So we'll roll with that.
See, that's funny. I
do like that, Panzer. And it seems. And
no, I don't think wars have been started over this. I think petty fights between chefs have been started over it, and I find that like
this could be also an interesting tradition. No, here could be an interesting tradition related to the iced wine. So I'm kind of thinking a little bit about the Norwegians and their insistence about whether or not you stack your firewood bark side up or bark side down, and they will argue until the cows come home about this. So maybe the argument here, the cultural argument, is: do you store your iced wine in the cellar where it's cold, or do you serve it, on the counter at room temperature?
Room temp.
And that's like the one, and you go into somebody's house, and like the first thing you want to check is, okay, but how do you store your iced wine?
I think a petty argument between two.
You could also say that there's a third group that doesn't consider it ice wine until they
poured over ice
until they can pack it in the snow without it freezing.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to get the alcohol content high enough.
Whoa.
I think somebody froze.
Wait, was that me or?
No, it's there was a very moment of robotic from.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Daughter, boy, how do you serve the wine?
Yeah, I think it cleared up.
Yeah, we can hear you better now.
We can totally write a war about this. Absolutely.
We have a military conflict prompt too.
I feel like that's our 3 prompts. It's this, which falls in the cuisine prompt, the actual berry,
nice,
and then
there you go.
Because a conflict between two
petty fight.
Well, a conflict between 2 unequal powers in your world. Maybe the room temperature wine stashers are considered the minority and poo-pooed.
Yeah. But I will say that I find it much more funny of it being like a Tom and Jerry situation and an actual fight.
Yeah.
Like
a conflict doesn't necessarily have to be like war type, physically violent.
No, I feel like it'd be much funnier if it was like a Tom and Jerry situation. This is me just loving Tom and Jerry. I grew up on that.
Also, Yina, I keep reading that in like the God of War voice. Every time I see boy. And something else I'm kind of thinking about for the wine specifically is like you talk, like when people usually talk about like what does wine taste like and smell like, because that's actually it's a surprisingly like sensory drink. Just kind of thinking about like what when you aerate your wine, like the sort of prudish person you might be, the snobby person you might be. What does it smell like? Is kind of something else.
I was gonna say something. I was gonna say the what does the person doing the wine tasting say about the wine?
Exactly. That would be a fun quote to open it with.
So dumb.
Like maybe it actually has kind of a cold scent to it, like that feeling, when you step outside and it's like -30 and just that like, bit of shock.
Yeah.
And it just has that as part of like the regular like aroma.
Well, also ice has a smell sometimes, especially if you're using it with mineral heavy water.
Yeah.
So maybe it smells like.
Well, because these are coming from like geothermal, maybe it even has like people look to this as a sign of quality, but it smells a little bit like sulfur. Like it has that slight tinge of rotten eggs, and it's like, yes, high quality iced wine. It smells like rotten eggs.
I was just getting ready to write that it had a pleasant scent.
But no. Okay, so can we do middle ground? It smells like mineral heavy ice. No, mineral heavy ice. Smells like metallic when you smell it. Can that please be the middle ground? I feel like it has a
metallic and cold, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so well, we can say though its critics. So it has critics that point to its metallic scent as something off-putting.
Yeah.
No, off-putting or something to go towards.
Well, I think critics would say that it's an because it is a little off-putting.
Keep in mind, I have heard people describe actual wine as having a tar-like scent to it, and that was a good thing.
See, there's a reason I don't interact with wine people.
Yeah, they have some weird things.
Yeah.
I have also heard people say that, like, they like kind of a charcoal taste in their wine, and again, that was described as a good thing.
Well, as somebody
it's like the sommeliers of the world.
Yeah. As somebody who knows multiple people that like smoke whiskey, like smoked, like Fireball, basically.
Yeah.
But much higher quality. Yeah, no. Like, I can actively smell it from a while. Like, it's a lot.
So we're going to put in there that there was several regional traditions that grew up around the formation of the wine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also thinking, like, maybe the cultivation,
Let's get back to what Ian was saying. Like, how does the boy pour the wine? So, like, what are these details of those?
Do you tip your glass? Would be one.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I feel like. Ooh. Do you tip your glass? What's the thing?
And then how you store it, if you store it cold or at room temperature, kind of like the white wine, red wine situation. But this is just within one particular type of wine.
Okay.
Ooh, that's another good one, Bama.
Well, I specifically think that people serve it upright, or also the people serving it room temp, and on its side would be in the cellar. Like, right? Does that make sense? Or
I also think there could be some debate.
No,
as to
you
whether or
always
not-
have to store it on its side because that keeps the cork. That keeps the cork
Yeah.
wet.
yeah. What are you gonna say?
And I apologize. There's a bit of a lag today, so sorry if I talk over you.
No worries. What was it? Whether or not you're supposed to age the wine. Because some people may think it's like, oh, this is best served, within like 6 months to a year of, of bottling it, versus other people who are like, no, you need to age it for like at least 3 years. And maybe even what kind of wood that they use for the casks. Because people may want to impart certain, maybe it's traditional to use pine wood, which is what's common in that area, but some people might try using other kinds of wood.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe someone has decided, hey, let's try, aging this in oak barrels, and that's like a huge scandal. Like, how dare you go against tradition? We only use pine barrels in this household.
Why do I feel like the people who use oak barrels are the same people that store their wine at room temp?
Yeah, they probably are. I could honestly see like
make
some
these insane, like people actually fight over this.
I could very genuinely see somebody, a family is like they want to do something different. They want to mark up the price of their wine, so they start storing it in oak barrels, and they specifically market it as like oak barrel aged iced wine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the entire point of this. Is like, and then they can sell it for even more money, even though the process is the same.
Yeah, I feel like the whole situation with that is going to be oddly petty. Like,
oh, it absolutely is, and it should.
Yeah, yeah, as it should. Yeah. Okay. At least I feel like I'm glad we're on the same page.
Like, these are things any outsider is going to look at and be like, why on earth is this what you're arguing over? Like, don't you have anything better to do with your lives?
Also, holy shit. These people tend to receive bricks through their windows. Goodness. Not that far, I don't think.
So what's the silliest part of this that we can say they fought an 18-year-long war over?
Oh, do you want to hear something really stupid?
Oh, no.
Do you use a natural cork or a metal cork?
Sure.
That was the final straw that caused the thinking conflict. Is somebody decided to use a metal screw cap?
No, like, we're fully aware, but I do find it really funny.
Okay, we got this.
Those degenerates.
Yep.
We got to give them a name, though. We need a tribal name.
Now extinct.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah, fantasy name generator that.
No, I have a better idea.
Placeholder there.
Oaken casked? Yeah, I was about to say.
Maybe use like have egg in there.
What?
EGE, which is the Danish word for oak.
Well, no, this is going to be the one that came on with the screw-on cap. So
I've got an idea.
We'll name the other
the screw-on cap people are the same people that were the oak barrel.
What if we call them iron oaks? It's a little bit on the nose, but
I
so
think
who's the oak? Oak.
These are the same people that came up with the screw cap.
I think that so dumb.
Oh, you want that? Okay.
Like
okay.
Like I think because here's the thing. I think it happened in steps. So it was like oak barrel, okay, yeah, sure. Storing it at room temp, okay, yeah, sure. Metal screw cap, what?
No. Yeah, no, line there.
I think that's exactly what happened here.
Yeah, so maybe it's like the Iron Oak clan and then the Pine Barrel clan.
No, you're good.
Oh, okay. So this is going to be the Oak Barrel clan.
Yeah, so the Oak Barrel clan is the lesser power because they are heathens and degenerates.
Yep. I think Iron Oak is a little too on the nose.
Okay, fair.
Just a little bit. As much as I love the name, I feel like it's a bit much.
It also sounds weirdly British.
Iron Oak?
No, like, what is it? Why am I blanking on the name of something?
Okay, there you go.
I think that's a good place to put that at. Now, here's the question.
Right.
Do we want to write about the war itself and what it entails?
So we can always write about that conflict in another article.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that would be its own article, I think.
Yeah, no, that's what I was about to say. I was like, I think we should leave this one where it is. And
we're gonna make a couple articles for these guys.
Are we spelling barrel with 2 E's?
Yeah, someone in the chat did, so I just ran with it.
Okay.
And we're gonna do Pine Hearts. Okay, yeah, okay, we'll do Pine Hearts.
I think, yeah, Pine Heart sounds good. It's so dumb.
Okay, because then we can come back up here.
I love that the bots are like fight with each other periodically.
And we can take this one here. There we go. You just fix the capitalization on those things real quick. All right. Save changes.
Because it's
I'm
posting
gonna publish this up as soon as it comes out, so that if you guys want to check it out, you can. Oh, that our AIs fight again?
Yeah.
That's always one of the highlights. Okay, so what was the word count we had to hit for the prompts?
300.
I think we hit that.
Yeah, we're at 357.
How many?
357.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. So, before we move on to the next prompt, I kind of want to bring this back around to the actual topic for today, which is, like the limitations and the constraints and how they help with the creativity.
And also, you spelled something wrong. Apparently, it spelled denounced wrong somewhere.
Did I?
Apparently.
Okay, I'll fix it in 1 second. Oh, you're right. Right there. Okay. All right, so that one's published. So what's the next prompt, Elizabeth?
Let's see. Do we want to write about the snowberries or the frost war?
As much as I want to write about the medicinal properties of a berry, I think Frost War is infinitely
Either
funnier.
one would work,
Yeah,
really.
it is. But do we want to go through the constraints of the current prompt, which is the cuisine?
Yeah, do you want to do
Okay.
more cuisine stuff?
Frost War it is.
Just because, like, the prompt itself, the way it's phrased, it gives you quite a few constraints.
Prompt
So the
page
first,
again?
like with the article type, which is one
Yeah,
thing,
like
it specifies that it's a ritual. You're telling it's a cuisine, so okay, you know you're writing about something food related from a sparse, barren, or remote region in your world. So almost
already
immediately, that takes us out of Fredomistan. We have to go somewhere else because Fredomistan is not sparse, barren, or remote. It's kind of where most of the action is. So that sent us basically looking at our map, and it's like, okay, well, what would be a region that fits that? We have Vardvolg, which we know, which we've already established is cold and fairly, and is far away from Fredomistan. So, and what's kind of nice about summer camp is that oftentimes, like with a lot of these prompts, you might already
And it's
have
probably sparsely populated and
exactly. And like we already had seeded in because of the crooked mast that we know that there's something called iced wine which exists in this world. We just haven't fleshed anything out about it.
that's true. What else exists?
Yeah.
Here, I'm actually kind of.
So it's like it made sense that the iced
as
wine
far
was
as the
kind
map is concerned, we haven't really created a lot of the map.
yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not. The rabbit hole is in like the cuisine for this area. I'm kind of curious what we could come up with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for instance, one thing.
Well, someone in the chat earlier, I think it was maybe Eno, was talking about like a meat braised something.
We
Yeah.
were talking. Yeah, that. Yeah.
Yeah, like what
Sorry,
food
braised meat.
pair with iced wine?
Yeah.
That could be a nice one to go with it. That
And,
would
like,
actually cover
with ice wine.
the cuisine. Did we just do the cuisine, or was that?
Yes, we just did cuisine.
Yeah, that was the cuisine from a sparse bear in a remote region in your world.
Mm-hmm.
But then, of course,
Okay,
the iced
so
wine also starts.
There's a
sparkling
useful
wine.
plant that ties to that, or we could.
I think the two we were talking about there's one about like plants from a remote area or something. I don't know where that one is. But the other one we were talking about was the conflict between two unequal powers in your world.
I think we could just keep going with if we keep going with this wine theme, then we've got the plant, which would be the snowberry. We'd have the settlement, which would be the existing clan, because the other one's extinct.
You leaning towards one or the other?
I am definitely leaning towards the conflict because I think that's
then the conflict, we could do the actual.
Yeah, I was about to say. I think want to look at the conflict
and how
I kind of don't want to write about the settlement before we have the conflict down first.
Yeah. Because I feel like we'll probably end up naming the settlement in the process.
Okay. Right. Oh, and they have all these nice little prompts in here. So I'm just going to put a quick brief up here for this.
Yeah, that might be another fun thing to do is actually use the prompts that World Anvil gives you because they give you a lot and they make you think.
That sounds so backhanded. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
We're both very tired.
Okay, I'll be fair. I'm also the person where all my articles just go in the vignette section. So like I barely touch the actual prompts and it's a problem.
Yeah.
Sit here, it's like, oh, I don't know what to write about this thing. And it's like, maybe I should go look at the prompts.
Right. They are very useful, and also because they format things.
Yeah. And that's why I don't use it, because I want to make my own formatting. I want to make my own headers. I'll throw things in the sidebar.
Yeah, but if I do ever get a subscription to World Anvil, I'll be sure to use all the extra fun things.
Well, even free members have access to the prompts.
The prompts, yeah.
It's mostly just the CSS you're missing out on and the themes.
Which I don't really care about right now.
We're going to put this kind of far back in the past, I think. Maybe like
I think it has to be at least 100 years ago.
Like maybe Clan Oak Barrel has kind of fallen into like legend. It's like, oh, those dumb people in the past, like how silly they thought.
Like it has to be long enough away that no like human lifespan race from that time are alive today. So it has to be far enough back.
Yeah, so. Okay. We don't have dates yet, so we're going to leave that there for a minute. But they're going to prelude. So this is going to be where Clan Oak Barrel is going to metal. So it's the difference in the barrel, the wood types, and in how they bottle it, or how they the metal caps on the bottle.
Yeah,
I think the very first thing they did not like was the actual barrels.
Mhm.
I think that what happened first.
And I can also see maybe they thought
So we'll
that
put this in the
using
prelude.
barrels was almost like spitting in the face of Vardvolk because you had to import them.
Mm-hmm. And I will be right back. I need to grab water.
That goes to anyone in chat. Please make sure you hydrate.
Oh, getting all the beginning of it written down.
He makes enough to live, baby.
Yeah. So playing fine, right? Okay, let's see. Okay, so there we go. So we got I've got a bit of the lead up there coming into it.
I definitely think there needs to be like in the actual conflict itself, some good old like Dino Wars type action where they're just sabotaging each other.
So we're gonna have him. Right. We're gonna make this into like a full-blown civil war.
Well, is this more like the U.S. Civil War, or is this more like the Cold War? That's the question here.
Not like a funny kind of civil war.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a Cold War. Well,
In between.
At some point, you would have to turn it to a hot war, right? Because one clan got destroyed.
Yeah.
Here's an idea: is that maybe they had some sort of like.
But I want to make it funny,
Okay, no.
right? Kind of
settle?
dark funny. Brother against brother, father against son, fighting with mackerels. Exactly, Bama. Exactly.
What? Okay, that's clearly a reference that I do not get. Okay.
I need fish slapping now. We need to have fish slapping in this.
So it is Scandinavia.
There
and
we
there is
go.
a lot
There
of
we go.
fish.
Look, so. Oh. One of the sabotages could be that someone poured vinegar in a barrel of fish, and the other one turned it into pickled herring, kind of like a nah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a reference to something. Makes sense.
Yeah, like these kind of petty things to spite each other.
And I almost feel like
Okay, so we're gonna change this line here. It's gonna say, and much drinking, fighting, and fish slapping occurred.
yeah. Can I also say something
Yep.
that I think would be funny? I think only a few people actually cared.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think it was like the higher, like maybe like 20 people actually gave a damn.
I've got another idea for sabotage or like mean things you can do to somebody. Is that they took a bunch of codfish and just like basically like pelted codfish heads at like the other clans like houses and stuff. But the thing is, because it was so cold, they just dried, and that's how they invented stockfish.
Wait a minute, hold up, repeat that. Just real quickly. I want to make sure I hear it.
So is this just going to be like a long series of pranks where they invent all this new stuff trying to screw with each other?
Yeah.
Trying to think of this. Because I feel like this is less of like an actual Cold War and more of a Looney Tunes / Tom and Jerry situation where Jerry actually gets the mouse at the end. If that makes sense.
Like maybe somebody accidentally actually took it too far, and that's why Clan Oak Barrel is no longer around.
Yeah. It's a lukewarm war.
It's a lukewarm war. Like, I feel like it escalated to the point where somebody said, "Oops, accidentally killed the leader with the."
So maybe something silly happened, like. Like he tried to open a wine bottle, but because it was metal, his tongue stuck to it. Like he's so used to being able to bite a cork and pull it out, and then he goes to bite the metal lid, and his tongue sticks to it. Now he's got a wine bottle hanging out of his mouth.
I think that's exactly what started the whole, like, actual okay, fuck off. It's so dumb.
Oh, what if pouring wine into
so we can actually add that in right
is
here.
what created surströmming? Because like right after they
What
did
did
it, there's
you
a
say?
big snowstorm, so everybody had to stay inside and they couldn't fight with each other for several days or like a week or something. And then when they came out, it was like it was completely fermented, and now they had surströmming.
So dumb. So- Yeah, no, I think that's what started the. I think that's exactly what happened.
There we go. So his tongue got stuck to the bottle, and then he got frostbite, and then it's war.
Yep, that is exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, your mother was a hamster, and your father smelt of elderberries. Okay, Oak Barrels poured a bunch of pine snowberry wine all over a stockfish as an insult, which incidentally resulted in the creation of a now delicacy snowberry wine pickled herring. Exactly.
I do like the idea that this war accidentally sparked like a whole bunch of like new fish delicacies.
Okay. Right. So, we'll put it here. So, like, the initial parts of the war were a Cold War. Or lukewarm. There we go. We're gonna spice this up though a little bit though, because Chief Pineheart, he's gonna be like, I don't care about your slight. There you go. So it's kind of like Oak Barrels try to prank him back, and then he's going to be like, I didn't even notice, so I'm going to sit here and eat these pickled fish and force everyone else to do it. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So I'm actually going to move this one down here. Because that keeps the sense of escalation as it goes up, right? We can add some more stuff in the middle if we want.
What's the next thing after that? It's deployment, then what?
The battlefield. So we can fill in some more prank information in the middle later on if we choose to.
I think the final prank is like in an attempt to like do like some one-upping things, they make a like snowberry infused drink. But they didn't process it correctly. And I think the other clan member got very sick.
Oh, no. No, we can say that they tried to sabotage the lids on their for their pots whenever they were cooking, and it ended up distilling down the alcohol and making it spicy.
Does that happen?
It's fantasy. It could.
Well, when you distill wine, you get brandy.
Yeah, true.
Fair enough. Okay, I dig it. Okay.
I mean, sure, we're definitely taking liberties with it, right? Like, and that's absolutely true. But we just kind of just riffing with it.
So you think we're gonna hit the 300 word mark on this one?
We already have.
I'm making a joke.
Oh, I think we already have.
I'm pretty sure we definitely have.
We can add a bit of a retaliation here so that Pineheart doesn't just seem like a victim.
Yeah, what do you think the retaliation is?
Well, okay, here's an idea. Maybe they want to make Pineheart look like the victim, like in the history, to justify their actions. Like, oh, look at what these evil oak barrels did. And perhaps,
Right.
like, as time has passed on, they've actually forgotten that Pineheart retaliated.
Or, so their oak barrel wine, they didn't age that very well, so it's just like their into
I would prefer the main one. They help me remove the salt for that hole. Like, it feels bad when like it's just that fucking.
Well, so I'm also kind of making like I want Pineheart to be to look like he's being a little bit petty because he is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's also more of the traditionalist versus the progressive kind of view.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's actually a good idea. That's actually a good idea. I'm going to add that in here.
I think maybe not as like initial thing, but later on.
So,
Because like that's causing actual
One.
damage to somebody.
Yeah.
So I don't think that happens before somebody gets stuck to a metal lid. Like their tongue gets stuck to a metal lid. I think that happens after, to be completely honest with you.
Well, he was saying because they have the thing where green snowberries, if you eat them too early, they'll give you frostbite.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're cooking down the berries, you're going to have the fruits actually in the pot while they're cooking it, right? So he's dumping green snowberries and their old wine.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the actually harmful pranks didn't really start until like near the end of the war when people had kind of forgotten why that this is supposed to be extremely petty, or people started taking it more seriously.
Right. Well, so I think that in the first couple of events, what we have here is that they try to prank each other, but both chiefs were able to play it off and be like, "Haha, we rose above your prank." Up until the tongue getting stuck to the bottle, which wasn't a prank at all.
Yeah.
Right, so because the tongue getting stuck to the bottle was actually
his fault.
Chief of Pineheart trying to be tough.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and save that. We so maybe put. We can
Yeah, I
just
think this is a good place to stop.
Outcome, aftermath, long-term effects, or the legacy. We'll do it as a legacy here. Yeah. Yeah, I just want to hit the resolution that over time the Oak Barrel clan disappeared.
I think So here's the question about the Oak Barrel. The Oak Barrel clan. Was it created due to this conflict and was like a really short-lived thing? Or did it exist before?
I think what happened was that they, I think it was renamed, basically. Not because of the conflict, but because of the change, like in how they were doing things.
Like a respectable family gone bad, and now they're just remembered for the bad thing they did.
Like maybe there was a clan split that we did. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, Hatfields and the McCoys kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I got you.
And instead of saying that they all died, we'll say that its survivors were just scattered.
Yeah,
It doesn't need to be like a violent end.
It's like the Mayans or Indus River Valley civilization where they kind of just disappeared for an unknown reason.
Okay, we can always fill that little bit in there later. I just wanted to have a little resolution there. Okay. And we'll call this a showdown.
Yeah, I think this would.
Not so
Yeah,
much a full thought. Okay. So there we go. Okay, that's another one down.
yeah.
This is where this the constraints come into play, right? Because just having that prompt really narrows our thinking, and then that second constraint of the ice wine and the berries, right? That brought us to something more interesting.
Yeah. No, I was raised on the kooky, humorous.
So when I tell people, like, you know, think about your constraints and that the constraints are beneficial, that's where I'm.
Yeah, this was fun.
Yeah.
I was also raised on like the kind of kooky humor of like Tom.
Well, do you want to do one more, or do you want to call it for the day?
I think this is a good stopping point.
Yeah, my dog is starting to bug me a little bit, despite having just gone out for a walk right before stream.
Okay. Right.
So we good?
Okay, guys. Well, thanks for joining us. Thanks for hanging out. If you want to hang out with us later, I'll be over in the Flagstone community server. Be sure to support the podcasters. Go hit their Ko-Fi. Go check out their website on World Amble. And